Namaskar and very good afternoon viewers. Learners, we were discussing about educational leadership. Just to revert back to whatever we were talking about making of educational leaders. So, in making of educational leaders, we talked about the last attribute, which was lifelong learners. Why lifelong learners is important, as the Harvard Business School says, that it takes a real sense of personal commitment, especially after you have arrived at a position of power and responsibility, to push yourself, to grow and challenge conventional wisdom. So, friend, on this note, let me move on to the other aspects of educational leadership, that is the leadership styles. The first leadership style, which is of importance and which is usually followed most of the time by most of the educational leaders, is instructional leadership. What does instructional leadership? Instructional leadership means that this leadership concentrates on student learning outcome. So, that means usually the principal of those schools would be trying to improve teaching quality, because they are more concerned about student learning. So, their goal will be having good result from the students. A good result does not only mean curricular point of view, but also from the co-curricular point of view. So, that means here in this case the school leader will adopt the responsibility for professional development of the teachers, because it is a well known fact that the teachers who are better qualified or they are more professionally developed, they are the teachers who are able to understand the students well and as well as employ the new learning for improving their students. Because here the teachers should concern is to have the students performing well, because performance of the teacher will be evaluated on that parameter only, and this way the educational leader, the instructional educational leader would be doing his or her work. That means the most of the time of the instructional leader will be spent in solving pedagogical problem. So, what is going to be the work of educational leader in this case? The educational leader here will work as far as becoming a mentor and a coach to the teachers for advancing their skill, and he or she will be very promotive for the improvement of teachers. There, in this case, the pursuit will be to improve learning within the school, and in case it is required that the community is also to be engaged, community will also be engaged in such a manner that they can add on to the school from the pedagogy point of view or practice themselves. To give you an example, if a person is instructional leader, then the person would be inviting the people from the community, those who know their work well or who have the professional competence. If the person is inviting some industrialist, then that industrialist will be sharing with the students his own understanding of the work and how that industry is being promoted, and it will be more pedagogical. That is, the person would be talking more from the geographical point of view, from the economic point of view, from the practice point of view, and the people who have in-depth understanding, only they would be called. To give another example, if a person from agriculture is being invited, then he or she would be a farmer who would be having knowledge of farming very well. The person will be understanding the farming and agricultural practices to such a manner that a person can promote and propagate well, promote the practices, promote the knowledge amongst the students, and propagate the what can be utilized by the students from the pedagogical level. Another leadership style which is generally seen is transformational leadership. This is supposed to be the best one, but also very difficult, because it is collaborative in nature. This particular leadership is collaborative approach, and because it requires the people to come together to have a say in the decision making. It is a participative kind of a decision making to enable collective goal setting, then naturally it is most difficult, because it is usually seen that in case of participatory management, the people are not, if they are not able to control their group well, if they are not able to control their team well, the things fail. So, who would be good transformational leader? Only the person who can be role model. If the person himself is a role model, then that person can create a culture of innovation and improvement and share a sense of purpose amongst his or her subordinates. This leadership is generally known for setting foundation for growth and success. Friends, it is a well known fact that only transformational leaders are the one who have been able to bring changes in the organization. They are the high performing organizations who are being led by transformational leaders, the leaders who practice transformational leadership style, because they themselves are high performing and they also want the people around them to perform to their best abilities. For that, the support is provided, for that the productive relationships are built, for that instructional support is also provided. So, in case of transformational leadership, as Bernard Bass has said, there are 4 attributes which are required, that is influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation and individualized consideration. Now, let us talk about each one of them briefly. What does idealized influence? Idealized influence in one word would mean becoming a role model. That means a person who is of scientist of high caliber, if he or she becomes head of an organization, that person can have the idealized influence, because the other scientists in that organization will try to follow him. Similarly, a teacher who is very good in his or her work would be the best one to inspire others if he or she become a leader. So, the person should be idealized influence. Another important aspect or another important attribute of transformational leadership are that they are inspirational motivation. To give another example, I know one of a leader, all he used to do for instilling discipline amongst his subordinates and his team worker was that he used to sit at in the morning hour. He used to come to the office at least half an hour before the office timing, and he would sit in the open at a gate where the other people were entering, and he will just watch. As the people realized that the leader, the head of that organization, was himself coming in time, then the people who were also habitual of coming late, they also improved themselves, because the leader was not negatively motivating people, but was inspirational motivating the people that come in time, follow me. So, this is also one of an attribute which is of transformational leadership. Another important attribute is intellectual stimulation. Who can have the intellectual stimulation? Only the person who is open to the ideas, who himself understand the importance of brainstorming decisions which are based upon brainstorming, and a person who is capable of controlling also the others. And who would be able to control others? Only the person who himself is more learned than his team workers. So, intellectual stimulation can only be motivated, or it can only be practiced by the person who is himself very positive as far as environment is concerned. He is positive in inviting the ideas from the people. Another important aspect or attribute which we had underlined for transformational leader is individual consideration. What is individualized consideration? That is, the person should be able to relate with his team workers on an individual manner. How to relate with one's own team workers on individual manner? By being able to understand them. For example, if it is really required that a person has to leave early, then the person should be allowed to. And the discipline has to come from within the person. How would discipline come from within the person? Only if the person feels that the leader can be trusted and his problems are understandable to the leader. Which kind of problem? Not the lame excuses, but the real problem. So, the good leader, the transformational leader, is the one who is focusing on individualized consideration. That means, to understand it further, what will be transformational leader doing? He will be instilling trust, admiration, loyalty and respect within his team worker. He would be inspiring teachers, motivating them, and thereby the morale of the teacher would be on a higher side. And if the morale is on the higher side, then performance will also be on the higher side. That means the influence which is being exerted by the transformational leader is the generation of feeling. That means the transformational leader is generating the feeling amongst the team workers that they are the team, and the leader is there to lead them as well as defend them, and he or she would be working as a head of the family. Only then the organization would be transforming. In that case, it is usually seen that such kind of leaders have charisma. Charisma because the people have high level of EI and they are very compassionate people. Generally, the transformational leaders are having these attributes, but along with that, they are very good controller. They know how to monitor and manage not just their own emotion, but also others' emotion as well. They give others ability to energize. The team feels energized and the team drives towards successes, but team always feel respectful towards them. And because the team is feeling respectful towards them, then naturally the team will never go out of the control. And because they understand, the team understand that the leader trusts them, and because the leader trusts them, that is why the team itself trusts wholeheartedly the leader with their problems as well as with their strength and their ideas also, and thereby the organization is transformed. Another important leadership style is constructivist leadership style. What is constructivist leadership style? It is about facilitating the learning process. Here the people, the leaders are not directing, rather they are facilitating. At the core of constructivist approach is that learner control their own learning, not teachers. How would learner be controlling their own learning? If the learners are mature, one. Secondly, the teachers are able to control learners well. Thirdly, the learning style of each individual is giving respect. So, this kind of approach works well in the organization where all the other people who are there in that organization, they are also very able and they don't require to be directed, they require to be facilitated. And because the teachers understand everything well, so just by facilitating them, they are able to give the best, and same is the case with the learner. That means the learner will be able to prioritize. When we are referring the word learner, here the learner is not just the student but also the teacher, because in such kind of organization everybody is a learner. So, constructivist approach is the one where everybody is seen as knowing something, and that something is so huge that a person can be trusted to build upon that. The person doesn't require a customized teaching approach. Rather, the individual learning needs are to be adhered to, addressed to. And when individual learning needs are to be addressed, then naturally the teacher will also have to be experimenting. Which kind of schools does require such kind of leadership? They are the schools where the students are also quite learned and they only need to be improved. So, they are the school where the students need to become more productive, and they can become productive if they are facilitated. And here the teachers will also have to focus more within their school. Why? Because the knowledge as a product, it has become so important, because knowledge as a product has become important, and it is more important than in comparison to knowing as a process. Then naturally the person will have to concentrate on the improving the knowledge aspect, improving the product aspect, and to improve, then they will have to focus more on the pedagogical aspect. They will have to focus more on the instruction and curriculum design, because that would also become open. So, here the school leader will have to encourage sharing the big ideas and challenging the others' perspective. The classroom will be seen as a place where inquiry and co-construction dominate. So, in that, the environment of the classroom will be very vibrant. Constructivist leader will expect the teacher to engage in reflective practices. Their teachers will be processing with their students and their peers, and everybody will be giving to their best and at an equal level. The purpose of a reflection will be to challenge previous assumptions about teaching and learning, and to rethink and reframe students' participation. Constructivist leadership will be about immersing teacher in a culture of learning, enabling them to take risk, and here the leader will not be dictating to the teachers how to deliver instruction. Rather, they will be experimenting on their own. Of course, here the leader will be educating the teachers, but not dictating. And here everybody will be viewing themselves as learner. As I said initially, that in this kind of styles, both the principal and the teachers and the students all are learners, and they are working as to improve and challenging not just oneself but challenging each other also. Another important leadership style is servant leadership style. What does servant leadership style means? It means that the leadership pushes the ego to a side and it considers needs of others rather than focus on the self-interest. In this case, the leader will be more concerned about the other people, and he would be seeing himself as serving the others, serving the teachers, serving the students, serving the teachers and students in such a manner that they can develop their skills to improve their performance. In this case, the principal will not be dictating at all. In fact, here in this case, the school principal will instill the desire for improvement while maintaining a focus on both results as well as relationship. Result will be focused on by the people, but what will be at the center, result or relationship? Relationship, because here the person has accepted oneself as a servant. Now let us try to understand that what are the characteristics of the servant leader. As Robert K. Greenleaf has identified, the characteristic of servant leaders are: he is a good listener. Number one, the person is a good listener. Second, the person is empathetic. The person who is empathetic, the person would be able to understand them well. Thirdly, the person should be good at healing. Fourthly, the person should have awareness of others, awareness of the situation, awareness of the organization. Fifth, the person should have good persuasion, because if the person is not being directive, then only persuasion will work. If the person is good at persuasion, then naturally the person would be able to get the people going and get the work done to the maximum and get the best result out of them. Another characteristic, that is conceptualization. What does conceptualization means, friend? Conceptualization means the person should be able to conceptualize the relationship amongst themselves, how to handle the dynamic between the team as well as the students. He or she should also be able to conceptualize the results, and based upon conceptualization, the person should be able to persuade the team. Here the team means the teachers as well as students. Persuade the team as to work in the direction of that conceptualized. And in this case, conceptualization would also come from the others, because in the case of a servant style leadership, the person would be giving up to the others. Giving up doesn't mean that the person doesn't know anything. Giving up means the person has given up one's own ego and the person is no more directive. There are huge chances that the person is knowing more than the others around, but the person is not proud of it and he doesn't think that he knows so much so that he can take the organization. Rather, he believes in taking the people's view and letting the people decide in such a manner that the organization move, and he is only serving the people in reaching those ideas which have come from them. Another important characteristic which is needed in the servant leadership is foresight. Foresight means he or she should be able to see that if the person is practicing servant leadership, where will organization end? What kind of results are to be expected? If the expected results are foreseen, then naturally the person would be able to persuade the people to move in that direction. Another important aspect or the characteristic of the servant leader is stewardship. Stewardship, as the word itself says, the person is taking the organization in that direction, but he still says and believes that team is taking it, and he is committed to the growth of people as well as building community. Friends, from these characteristics you can easily understand that these are the characteristics of leaders. Leaders, that means even political leaders. The good political leaders are the one who have all these qualities, who can build the community around them, who have the trust of the community in them, and the community work for their foresight, and thereby the state or the nation, or you can say some organization, moves in the direction to reach at a place. Friends, if we talk about servant leadership, they are the people who cultivate high performance teachers. How would they cultivate high performance teachers? By removing barriers. What kind of barriers does the teachers have? The barriers are they don't have resources. They don't have channels to promote themselves. They don't have channels to become leaders themselves. And they are the people who provide resources to the teachers. They are the people who open communication channels. They are the people who involve the school community for reaching certain stage. They are the people who are completely democratic as far as power sharing is concerned. Their decision making in case of servant leader is coming in such a manner that it is very positive, it is very motivating, it is persuasive, and the school community comes together to fulfill their long standing vision. Who are there here? There means the community. So servant will be who would be able to inspire people. If we want to understand the servant leadership well, then we can understand from the perspective of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was able to have the nation realize what it needs, what it wants, and in serving he became a leader, he became father of the nation, because who serves the nation or a family? Parents. So servant leaders are the people who have very big heart, who have no egos, and they are just givers. They are givers, and by giving they take the organization or a country to a different level. They are the people who engage others, engage in such a manner that everybody can look at a future. The servant leaders are the one who implement structural changes, and they also keep an eye on that. Researchers have shown that in the long term, servant leadership creates a positive and productive school environment, and they provide the bigger picture. Another important style which we need to discuss is strategic leadership. What is strategic leadership? Strategic leadership is based upon long range planning. Who are the people who are strategic leaders? They are the one who analyze things well. They evaluate and are capable of monitoring things well. Strategic leader, as the word itself connotes, they are able to assess the performance based upon data. They understand the data well, and they can take necessary steps to improve future results. They build strategies to take the organization to in some direction to another level. They are the leaders who set the direction. They are the leaders who have organizational vision. They create framework. They set up interventions. They allocate resources, and they maintain a system for reforms to take place. There are 7 guiding principles of strategic leaders. Rather than focusing on day-to-day issues, strategic leaders are more future-oriented. They are more preparing the organization for uncertain destiny. They base their decision on evidence and research. They draw data that demonstrate the school learning outcomes. Strategic leaders will respond to the most suitable approach, whether it is staff training, reviewing policies, procedures, or fostering a culture based upon the achievement. They will be able to draw based upon the data the best possible decisions. They will be innovative. Innovation is at the heart of strategic leader mission. They are always looking for the ways to improve the school environment, whether that is relationship building or embracing diversity or creating partnership with parents. Strategic leaders invest in the partnership across the school community. They use the power of collective thinking to build a value-based schools, which is transparent, ethical, and accountable. And these are the 3 aspects which are the cornerstones of such kind of a leadership. Friends, the last 2 strategies which we have talked about, strategic leadership, even the servant leadership, they are the styles which are to be practiced by the people who invest more time. That means who would be staying in the same school for the longer duration, because both these styles needs more time to be invested, and they also need to see the results and accordingly experiment. Friends, from here what we conclude is that the leadership style can be of any kind, but what are the parameters which decide this leadership style? The parameters will be, first, the internal attribute of the person, and secondly would be the situation of the organization. And how would a person decide the leadership style? That would be based upon the personal variable of the person. If a person has good EQ, then naturally the person would be going for the transformational style. If a person is very good at giving up one's own ego, then person and is looking for creating a vision amongst the people who are there in the organization, in the school, that is the teachers and the students, then naturally the person will go for the servant style. If a person wants to see his or her school to reach a definite level and to compete well with the other organization, then the person will go for the strategic. So it depends upon the situation as well as the personal variable. Why leadership matters? The leadership matters because it is a bedrock of the great school, and evidences have suggested that the effective leadership is essential to creating a learning environment where every student has access to high quality. Another important aspect is that the leadership, friends, I will repeat again, the leadership is not something with which a person is born. It can be instilled, it can be injected just as new thinking can be injected. On this note, Dr. Renu Tomar taking your leave. I shall be joining you again on some new topic within a week or so. So, Dr. Renu Tomar signing off. Thanks a lot, friends. Namaskar. Good afternoon. Have a good day.